things took a very unfriendly turn on tonight's episode of Evan and Ashlee. We have it all here on AfterBuzz TV starting right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys.
Never gets old.
I'm just running away over here. Welcome to the Evan and Ashlee and Evan. I've been calling it Evan and Ashlee for some reason. The Ashlee and Evan after show. I'm your host, Caroline, and I am so excited. I'm just gonna call out one thing. Is there any way we could possibly engineer Josh turn off the background of y'all? Because I cannot hear anything other than our lovely engineers.
This is what you get when it's live, people, right?
Yep, that is.
Gotta roll with the punches.
Okay, wow. Now I can hear nothing but my beautiful voice. Oh, God. Okay, I'm your host, Caroline Thayer. Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody, but you know what? Stuff happens. And a lot of stuff happened on tonight's episode of Ashlee and Evan. Haley, want to introduce yourself before we dive right in?
I will. Hey, guys, I'm Haley J.
And I'm Maddie Pox. I'm so happy to be back with you guys.
Hey y'all, Susan Pinkney.
Okay, so now that we have all introduced ourselves, gotten past the technical difficulties, let's just dive into the fact that this episode was bananas. The Simpson Ross clan went to Palm Springs, and, you know, we're just going to be talking about when friends become family, when there's a lot of conflict in a relationship, how do you handle it, and when Evan and Ashlee are imbalanced. So, before we do that, I'd love to know what your thoughts of this episode were, because I know that especially you two over there really had some, like, interesting opinions on this episode versus last episode.
I felt like it was a real snapshot of their lives versus, yes, we know there was a cohesive story, but I felt like it was more like watching home videos of them on vacation in Palm Springs and everybody having a good time, and then, you know, friends crash. It just felt more organic than what we are used to seeing. It felt less edited, even though we know it was.
I totally agree. I think that this was a great episode because we got to see, you know, what they think of all their friends always coming over, and especially Ashlee, because she expressed that she's a little bit annoyed with it now. And we also got to see Evan's backside, which was a highlight.
Oh my God. I think you've been waiting for the past, 40 minutes to talk about that.
It was really relatable, this episode, too, especially when Ashlee was talking about how crazy it gets having a 2-year-old. It kind of goes to show no matter how famous you are, kids are kids and kids are tough. And so in that moment, I think that could be relatable to so many parents out there. Not me quite yet,
I was
but,
just about to say,
you know,
you do not have a child.
Not in any rush after seeing that, no.
I thought that the episode was really fun. We saw, I would love to go to Palm Springs and learn how to ride a bike and be a child again.
Let's go.
Yeah, that trip will happen. We will fill you in on it. It has yet to happen. But I think, and I know you touched upon this, we kind of saw them fighting more in this episode. Haley, do you think that the way, they handled things is good, or were you surprised that they got into a fight?
I would like to be in a relationship where I handled it that way personally, because even I feel like not so much a fight, but more tension as we felt between them. And she speaks up when she's not happy, and I think that's why they work, because they are good with the communication. But they had the classic in the car where they're both looking out of the opposite side of the window. You're like, it's not good.
He looked over and tested the waters, though, like, can I talk? No, I won't do it right now.
Gotta give them space when they need space and things like that.
She's, so calm as well. I don't know how she does it. She's so calm when she talks to him. I don't know. She's such a cool girl. I love
Hey,
it.
Josh, you want to say hi to our fans?
Josh just saved the day.
She still makes light out of the situation, even when they are arguing. You know, it's obvious she still cares and wants that. She wants to be on good terms with him at the end of the day, so she doesn't want to start a fight, but she speaks up when she needs to.
Yeah, I love Ashlee for speaking her truth. And also, I really relate to Ashlee on another level where she is the one in the bed when all the friends are partying downstairs. Ashlee, if you're watching,
Real talk.
girl, I am that person. Like, all my friends can be partying, and I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna be upstairs in my bed watching Netflix. I'm not trying to party right now. All I want is my
Another
pillow.
relatable note. I'm like, when did I become such a grandma? And then when she was saying, sorry, I have such a grandma, I'm like, I'm not the only one. Finally.
I was just so surprised though, like, because obviously they were in Palm Springs, and then when they came home and he had the same people over after surprising her that way, so he surprised her again. It just seemed like he was really pushing her.
And it's kind of unfair to her to make her, I don't know, feel like the bad guy when she has every right to feel that way. But doing it in front of the friends, I could see how she kind of looks like the only one complaining and not the best situation to be in. But, you know, she's right to feel that way.
Well, because we're talking about this lovely moment, I really must say, I'd love to hear your guys' best impression of Ashlee when she gave Evan the "okay, cool" line. So, Susan, we will start with you.
So you're referring to when they were out back and he was trying to keep her quiet from embarrassing him,
Yeah,
even though everybody knew that they were arguing, and so
Well, the fans already saw the episode,
And
so
so
they know
she
what
was
we're
like-
talking about.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I mean, okay. Thank you. And scene.
Yeah.
I want to do that really raspy voice.
I feel like you're going to be, I was going to say, I think you would be good at it.
Better. Okay. Okay, cool.
That was really good.
You were in character.
Okay, cool. I feel like you can do it
I don't
better,
know if I
Haley.
can. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Cool.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Cool, cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no,
Wow, that
what
was
has
just-
happened?
Hey. Okay, cool.
It's that
pretty
funny,
good.
like, childish thing you go back to where it's like, you just want to be mad and you just do those little,
can't.
it's like, you know, it's not an effective way to argue, but it's like, let me have my moment. Let me do what I want to do.
And clearly she was tired, and they were,
I'm sorry.
loud.
I love a little one-liner in any episode. So that shout out to you, Ashlee, for giving me some
That was the one.
inspo. Interesting.
For as talented as she is, though, we learned that she did not ride a bike. And, well, she's learning how to ride a bike. And then, what was the other thing that she didn't do very well?
Eating chicken wings.
That might be a pet
gosh,
peeve of mine, too. So sometimes I'm like, why didn't you finish it? Like, I want to say something.
I do the same thing. I see a chicken wing and I pick it apart and I just leave everything
Really?
on it. Yeah.
Is it in public or in private as well? Because in private, it's easier to eat something on a bone.
This is like private, public. I don't know. I just pick apart this meat.
It's like trying to be
I
cute
totally get
eating a
her.
chicken wing. I don't think you can.
I don't have that problem. I'm a vegetarian. I don't even know what I was trying to say. I can't relate.
chicken wings.
Something I do.
Yeah, it's just not. Okay. Anyways, let's get into our first topic, which is Evan and Ashlee feeling imbalanced. And this is really coming from Ashlee for a plethora of reasons. First being, they're trying to balance their kind of newly full-throttled work life with their family life because they also work together, so they're spending time with their family. But have you guys ever been in a relationship where you've worked with your significant other? I'd like to know. No?
I have not. I think that's a rule I try and always stay. Even friends, I don't like to really mix those things, but tell us about your experience.
It wasn't like we were working together, but I mean, I met him through work and I was interviewing him and he was the talent and I was sort of, behind the scenes and whatnot. So I
You
guess
got the job.
No, interviewing as in like artist and
Oh, I
interviewer,
see.
like journalist. And that can sort of get in the way, I guess, because it's,
Well, it's being able to separate those two things, I
Yeah.
think, and the respect level in the workplace, and then you are a different person when you leave work, but that can be really difficult depending on what you do.
yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So they bring work home with them and they bring home to work. So I think that's kind of hard because if you're constantly working with your spouse that you're with all the time, when there's just a fluidity that maybe is carried over into both aspects of their life, and then you're like, well, where does it start and where does it end?
Exactly. That's why I am so impressed at the way they handle conflict when it does come up, because I gotta be honest, if I was with someone all of the time, I don't care like how great the chemistry is. I feel like at some point you need your own space, and
I was going to say, it feels
tough.
like they have boundaries, though, meaning they go to a studio to do their work. Usually when we see it on the show, they're, going someplace to sing or someplace to, to listen, even play back, like at Diana Ross's house. So I feel like they separate it just by geography, it seems
right.
like.
And that can make a big difference, just getting out of the house, changing the setting.
Absolutely.
Oh, I never really thought about that, how change of scenery is really good for the body and the soul.
100%. I don't think I could work from home, because that would just start to weigh on me.
I love working from home.
Some days for sure, but I think if that was a Monday through Friday thing, I would start to let myself go.
Another thing that we obviously see in the title of this episode, I'm not sure if I'm awake right now.
Did we go to Palm Springs this weekend?
Yeah, literally. So basically, another problem is if friends are allowed to kind of be within that area of family time. And we're going to get to that in our next subject, but I know it's something that causes that imbalance, because it looks like Evan is balanced when he's with his friends, but Ashlee is imbalanced when there's too much friendship time going around. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, he's trying to bring his friends into their family life, and that's why he always has friends over. So it's kind of like he's trying to make it all work, but it's not, obviously. So it's just a matter of when he can keep it separate and whatnot. I don't know.
And it was funny how he made the joke about, no, I didn't tell my friends that we had all the extra rooms. No, I didn't say that. That was funny, but you kind of think he would know better that she wouldn't like something like that when she specifically said, hey, I want to go away for family time. This is important to me. So I do think having them crash was not necessarily the best move, especially when they are at the house all the time, as we can see. It's like, did they have to be there for just they wanted 2 days?
Yeah, they're like there every night, it seems. Like all his friends.
I don't know about you guys, but that would definitely cause me to feel imbalanced, because again, if you're their whole life is so convoluted in my mind, because, and not in necessarily a bad way, because it seems like they're making it work, but their family is their work, their family is their friends, and they're always together. I'm like, when are you ever just Ashlee and Evan, the married couple, It's like they're go,
feeling, which he doesn't seem to get.
Susan, you look like you have something to say.
No, with the friends and family balance, I just feel like I get it. I get both sides. And if I were Ashlee and I expressly said, can we keep this just a family trip and then the friends come along, I'd be more upset than she was. But at the same time, she loves each and every person who showed up. So, what do you really do in that situation? So I don't know. I mean, it was a tough one. And like I said, I really feel like Evan should have respected her more on what she wanted in that situation.
That's a great point, and let's talk about that, because another problem where they seem to have a lot of imbalance is when surprises happen, because Evan's like, yeah, surprise, party, and Ashlee, as Evan so eloquently said, not really keen on surprises.
He acknowledges that she wasn't going to be into it. That's what I'm thinking, why did he even do that?
Are any of you like team surprise? You like being surprised?
When it's a good one,
I
yes.
do, yeah.
and who's the judge on whether it's a good surprise or not? Me. But I mean, if it's a good surprise, absolutely.
I'm down for a surprise party. I'm like, so it depends.
I feel like he always knows she's going to be surprised, but he keeps doing it. So it's like, why do you keep doing it? But in the end, she's not really that mad. So that's why he keeps it going. But
okay, well, I thought, and you guys correct me or add your input, did you think it was a little shady that he very cheekily said to the camera, I didn't tell my friends that there was so much excess space. I didn't tell them.
Knew.
That's what I was saying before. It was cute, but it's like he definitely
she
invited them.
specifically said no friends. We are doing a family weekend.
What is that saying? It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. I think that's his rule of thumb.
That's
because
his motto.
He seems to be, every time, he'll do what he wants to do anyway, and then, she forgives him.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. If she never gets that mad, it's like a little kid who's going to keep trying to do, get away with things if the mom never gets that mad about it.
I was going to say, even before she came outside, like when she was trying to sleep, they all knew. They're like, oh no, here she comes. And they're giggling like, oh, like it's happened 1,000 times before. And if it's happened 1,000 times before, it shouldn't still be happening.
Right.
Well, I don't see, this is why I'm so interested in how their relationship works. I think that they both are children at heart. Ashlee specifically, because we learned that she doesn't know how to ride a bike, which was something very, very much incorporated into my life when I was a child. But I thought that was so cute when this is just like as an aside, was learning to ride her bike alongside her daughter Jagger. Have any of you ever?
It was so cute too.
It was the skirt on the bike. I wouldn't have tried it, but she looked amazing.
Have you ever ridden a bike that has the back pedal brake as opposed to the handlebar brakes?
Yes.
I think so. I actually broke my arm riding a bike when I was little.
Oh my gosh.
They say you never forget how to ride a bike. You do. Because really, I hadn't ridden a bike in a long time, and then I tried again, and it took a second to get back into it. I eventually got it, but yeah.
I think I'm only comfortable with the back pedal brake. Like the handlebar brakes, I feel like I'm going to flip over, so I'm afraid of those bikes.
Oh, I think it's so, because your feet are constantly going forward, to retract your feet and go backwards is so foreign to me. I like the handlebars, but whatever.
I do have a question though, when we're talking about the friends. How do you think they feel? If I was a friend, I think I would start to sense maybe I should go. What do you think they feel?
I think we'll talk about that in our next little segment. But before we do that, we have so many messages to say to our friends and family, our AfterBuzz family. So let's throw it over there to you, girl.
Hey AfterBuzzers! Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that tailor-made for you and help AfterBuzz continue to grow. If you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button for this channel and check out our AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes. Thank you.
The best fans. Thank you.
Good job. Let's get into the friends and family situation. When are friends considered family, and when is it time for friends to be friends and to butt out? So Haley, take it away, because I know you're like, hello, what were they thinking?
Yeah, well, I love that the friends are so close, and it's so cool that they genuinely all seem to love each other and have so much fun. But I think if the line is drawn out, hey, this is family time, I do think there's a respect level that comes with that, and that maybe they should have backed off. They like I said before, they wanted 2 days. It's not like they were saying, we're doing this lavish trip, we don't want you to be part of it at all. They just like, hey, give us a little bit of space with our daughter. But then Evan invited them. So
I was going to say, and here's where it gets tricky for the friends, I'm guessing. So we saw how much through the past so many episodes, we've seen how much she loves the friends around, and she herself includes them. So if you get a call from Evan saying, hey, we're in Palm Springs, it's a villa, it has all this space and nice sheets, you're going to think that it's a family decision that you all can come and have a great time and enjoy Palm Springs. You're not going to realize that Ashlee expressly said, I don't want anyone here except for us, just the family.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it goes back to Evan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I think the friends were probably like, it's Palm Springs, it's an hour and a half away from LA. If they can't have us at the house, we're just going to get a hotel down the street, because it's very easy to stay in Palm Springs. So
Maddie, I think you're still thinking about Evan's butt. Let's be real.
I am.
Which we saw again. And I just feel like, what if the friends had walked in on that moment? You know?
I'm sure they have got them in that area before, and they're like,
well, Evan said at the beginning of the episode, it's like, y'all can stay downstairs. We're going to go do what we do upstairs. I'm like, isn't that weird? Just even a teensy tiny bit when your friends are that like almost ingrained into your home life that it's like, oh, you guys can chill downstairs. We're not going to be downstairs, but you guys can stay. I guess I'm like that with my best friends though.
I was gonna say, I think, it's kind of just an understood thing. Like, if they're so comfortable in the house, like, hey, we'll be downstairs doing our thing. See you guys later.
Lock the door when you leave.
Right? Interesting. Well, what do you guys think? I noticed, I don't know if you picked up on this, but the friends also brought their kids. Like, there were babies other than Jagger at the villa. And I'm just like, when did this become a family reunion weekend type situation?
Yeah,
because
that's not right.
See, that is where it gets a little foggy, because I think with the little bit behind the scenes, there are probably some things we don't know. How clear was his invitation? And I didn't even actually notice the kids were there, but that does make a difference if not only did the friends come, but they then brought their families. And
not
that's
only
like
is there one crying baby, but now there's like
Gosh.
several crying babies. That could kind of put a dent in the relaxing weekend.
So I want to know, after they got home and the very next night when everyone was at their house, like, when did he make that invitation? Hey guys, come on over tonight. Or, was it pre-planned? Like, when did that happen?
I feel like we don't see, or up until this episode, I hadn't felt like production was kind of getting or having a say in when things were happening in an episode and staging activities or whatever. But this episode, I must say, I feel like there was a lot of, and you mentioned this last week, Susan, conflict that was created just for television. And I don't think, the friends necessarily were totally given the invitation to go to Palm Springs. I mean, they were in a car with like 8 people and the camera crew. And I'm like,
I was thinking that, and I like the
it's not like they just
me
showed
doesn't
up.
want to believe it, but yeah, it's TV. Like, it has to be.
I mean, it's good
interesting.
TV. It's reality TV. Take with that what you will, and that's for the most part. I think it's very authentic. But this episode, I feel as though was a little bit influenced, and that is an instance of influence.
I would agree with that.
Again, sorry, Evan, because I love you. I promise you I do. But we know that he was in on it, so we know that he invited them as well. So whether it was production said, yeah, let's get the whole group together, we know that he was in on it as well.
What would you guys do if you were Ashlee in that situation? Because we know we went through that whole okay, cool situation, but how she reacted, Maddie, would you have been so cool about it?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. So tell us how you would have reacted.
I guess it's different because she knows she's on a show, obviously, and
Contain myself.
yeah, she wants to be cool, and obviously she's not at her house, so she wants to. And all these people just came 2 hours away from LA, so she wants to kind of chill with them and whatnot. So. I get it. She wants to be the cool wife and whatever, and she has her kid there, but she can contain herself. But when they bring their kids and stuff, I feel like that's a little bit crossing the line. But what is she gonna say? She can't kick them out, and they're her they're her best friends. So
how do you guys think though you handle a relationship when not only are they Evan's friends, but they're now Ashlee's friends too? So if you notice in that one scene when they came back from Palm Springs, Ashlee was up in her bed. One of her best friends, Naz Tokyo, is downstairs, and she's claimed that she's also best friends with Evan. But now you have work intertwined, you have your friendships intertwined, you have your family intertwined, and it's like, when is anything going to be separate? Because sometimes when lines get too blurred, that's when there's friction.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say earlier?
I was just going to say that at some point, when you were talking, I was just going to say at some point, it would seem like Ashlee would speak up ahead of time and let him know that it's not going to be okay to bring anyone. Because it just felt like, I don't know, I feel like Evan only does what he knows he's allowed to do. You know what I mean? Like, you only do what you know you can get away with.
And I think there's a part of Ashlee that wants to be the people pleaser too. She wants to have a good time, even at the end when she's like, see, I am fun. Like, she is fun. Yeah. She's cool. She wants to be around. But
was it really that the friends came, or was she more upset that he defied her? Do you know what I mean? Right. Because, of course, once the friends are there and she loves them and they spend time together and they're happy together, that's great. But was it because they came, or was it because he allowed it to happen?
And I think the real issue that to me seemed to annoy her the most was when she was saying we're not on the same page. So I think it was just, I'm expressing myself, I'm hoping you'll meet me halfway, but it kind of ended with it is what it is.
Yeah.
We don't agree on this.
And that's a great tie-in to what we're going to talk about next, which is conflict resolution and how they handle their relationship when it's, breaking down and how they rebuild it back up. They definitely have, and Haley, we were talking about this, communication goals. Like the way that they relate to one another is beautiful. So touch a little bit upon why you think they just work so well to resolve things.
The little sappy side of me is going to come out. I loved when he said that I can handle when she's mad at me, but I don't like when she's disappointed. And I think that alone shows how much he loves her, and he doesn't want her to be upset because he genuinely cares about how she's feeling. So I think just that understanding of each other, and even like you're going to get in disagreements, you guys are not always going to see eye to eye, but I think at the end of the day, if you both want each other's happiness, then you will make it work.
I think that's a great point. Susan, what do you think?
I kind of want to agree with you, but I don't, because that was an unnecessary. It was an unnecessary fight. It was completely unnecessary. I mean, meaning they don't communicate well. They're trying to, they're learning to, but I think Ashlee just kind of pushes it down and lets it happen and doesn't speak up. Like she may say something, she may get mad, she may, come out, tell everybody to be quiet, I'm going to bed. And then he asked her, well, do you want me to just come to bed too? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you that. And then he still stayed out there with his friends.
But we don't know that. We don't know that.
So as a fan, I really hope they do unfold that a little bit more, because it is kind of hard to tell what the dynamic really is. So I would like to see more of that side.
You know what I like about, they always kind of talk about their fights after, and they're not screaming at each other, which is good. And then he's always like, okay, let's try and have another baby. So he's like, at the end, he's always like, okay, let's.
I mean, they're committed to each other.
Right.
That's the best part. No matter what, they're committed and they love each other and they can laugh things off. But they struggle in communication.
I think, let's just hope it's not like a Band-Aid on it type thing.
I think that they have excellent communication. I think that the problem lies in the fact that every couple is going to have like little idiosyncrasies that bothers them. For Evan, it's that she can't eat a chicken wing properly. For Ashlee, it's like, I said no to friends and now friends are here. So I think that's not necessarily him not hearing, it's just literally him defying her rules, quote unquote. But I do think that with Ashlee, we saw in the car scene, she said, we are not on the same page about X, Y, and Z. And that was when they were on their way to the studio, which is...
We just reenact that real quick?
Yeah.
Whole time. We all have had those car rides. I think that's why it was the best. I'm like, yeah.
When you stare pensively outside of the window. But I think that she does stand up for herself. I think sometimes she does swallow her pride. It's like, you don't want to tell your husband to cancel his party. Like, you're not going to be
that's the people pleaser side of her.
Yeah. So I think more than anything, they have a lot of individual kind of conflict, not conflict with each other. It's like they're trying to please their spouse because they love their spouse so much. But another part of the show is the amazing music that we have, and it is time for a segment of Sample That Song.
So this week they released a song called Tonic, and we're going to listen to a little bit of Tonic and talk about it.
Tonic, like gin and tonic.
Actually, that's a line in the song.
Yeah, I know.
That's immediately where my mind went.
It's gonna work out. You trying to look at it?
I love this already.
Okay, immediately I get vibes of Michael Jackson.
Yes,
Same.
yes.
This is definitely different from the previous songs we've heard. It's much more upbeat. And oh my, I've heard this already, but every time Evan's voice is pure. Like, it's gold.
And the lyrics are nice because they use a lot of metaphors, and they're referring to each other as alcohol, kind of,
I love those little witty
Yes.
things.
We see Evan work with the guy from Earth, Wind & Fire. He worked on this song with him.
He worked on I Do.
I Do, okay.
That's a good. Verdine White is the guy's name, and we saw him in the episode. But he actually worked on I Do.
Okay, because I was getting this kind of feels like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, it does.
So that's why I thought about that. And
I mean, maybe they had influence from him
Yeah.
throughout their writing sessions or whatever. But I like this song. Do you guys think that the following songs from the album are gonna be a little bit more upbeat, and the last two that we've heard were more, not monotone, but they're just more simple and lovey? This doesn't sound as emotionally, they didn't pull from emotional experiences as much on this one.
Right.
Yeah, this one seems more like a fun song. Like there's a line, I'm guilty of submission, and I had to break that down in my head. Guilty of submission. I'm like, okay, so you're like, it wasn't my fault, I just submitted. It's just a fun kind of slightly sexy,
I can hear that as a bop on the radio,
For sure. I see myself like on a rooftop bar, drinking hand with the
Yes,
song. Like,
like,
like
with
with gin and tonic.
Yeah. With gin and tonic,
I think
yeah.
it's good that they have, like, because obviously we love to see that relationship song and the lovey-dovey
And I
side,
think-
but this is fun.
any age would appreciate that song.
Yeah.
Like from, super young, super old, I think everyone would like it.
Well, you said it's reminiscent of Michael Jackson, so definitely an older generation who grew up with MJ would probably love it, as well as us who are young. So, with that being said, though, let's talk about some really exciting, fresh new news. It's not really fresh, but it's what we will see in next week's episode. So it's kind of new to you guys. Haley, it's time for news and gossip.
So we know that Ashlee and Evan are huge in fashion, if I haven't said it enough about every outfit I see her wearing, and for him. So it's not really surprising. They are working with, help me not butcher this one,
Zadig and Voltaire.
They are working together for their fashion line, actually named after their daughter, Jagger Snow, which never thought I'd be jealous of a 2-year-old, but that's the coolest name ever.
And we have pictures up on the screen right now of their fashion line. It's a ready-to-wear collection that's available now. And I think next week's episode, and I guess this is kind of like transitioning into our predictions, it can be one kind of big loop, but we'll see more of their fluidity in sharing clothing and how they design, because Ashlee, has said she loves the way Evan dresses, and obviously we saw Papa Joe with the pants that Evan was wearing or Ashlee was wearing that were meant for Evan or whatever.
That is ultimate goal right there. Share all the clothes with your significant other.
But I think that it's so cool how much work surrounds their relationship. However, I would be wary because, like what happens when you're done with the album? What happens when you're done with the clothing line? You're just husband and wife, which leads us into predictions, because I'd love to see or hear what you guys think about where their relationship is going. So, like I said, next week we're gonna see Ashlee. And Maddie, you said this. You're like, I don't really understand what we just saw in this last 30-second preview of next week's episode. But next week, it looks like Ashlee and Evan might, just be bickering. There is the mentioning of Zadig and Voltaire. What are you predicting for what's to come?
It seemed like there was an altercation with, their kids and whatnot. So maybe they're just trying to juggle like family life and the careers as always. So we'll see how that plays out. But I hope that they, figure it out and can juggle everything and they're okay. So, yeah.
Well, I'm predicting that I'm going to get what I need from Ashlee, which is for her to stand up and make it clear, I will not be satisfied if you do this again. This is not how this is going to be. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're going to get more of that because the conflict it comes to a head. It looks like it comes to a head next week. And that's what I need to know, that she's not just going along with
Come
him.
on, girl, stand up. I don't know, though, because they do seem like they're diving into the petty problems just to be, like putting the lids back on things. That's not like a major thing. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so to that
is it a
point,
major thing?
no, let me just say, like, if you if you don't put a lid on something, that is a metaphor for so many things in life, but physically not putting, like, here's a pen. If I don't put this cap back on and I leave it, what's going to happen to this? It's going to dry up, and then I can't use the pen anymore, which is Ashlee's whole point. Like, there's a hair in my toothpaste, and I'm not satisfied. I don't want to use the toothpaste. Little small problems build up.
I feel like that's the difference between the the girl brain and guy brain, because in her mind she's like, our love is gonna dry up, and he's like, it's a lid. You know what I mean?
I truly agree with that, but I think it's like when a bunch of small things start happening, that's when your relationship starts cracking, because it seems like they can handle the bigger problems. It's the small things that you have to look out for. Dun dun dun. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. But until then, Susan, where can we find you on this week-long hiatus until we have to see you again?
I am SUZQ90210, Susan Pinkney.
And I am Maddie Pox, MADDIEPOCKS.
I'm at HayJ_HAYJ_.
Cool, and I'm Caroline Fair. You can find me at Caroline J. Fair. Thank you guys so much. We're very sorry for the technical difficulties, but we love talking Ashlee and Evan, so make sure you're tuned in next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.